The green mandarin is one of the best fish in the marine hobby for its colours and uniqueness. It's absolutely beautiful. My kids say it's a frog fly because it's got the face of a frog and the wings of a butterfly. Some people say you have to constantly add live food to your system, live copepods, but I've only done this once right at the very beginning and I've not added any more since. And this mandarin has been in my tank for over 3 years now. In this video, I'm going to show you what I feed and how I do it. First thing I'm going to do is just put a little bit of food into the water. This will feed the fish and will also get the mandarin closer to where I want him. I've also turned off all the pumps to the system, which will help the food settle down on the bottom of the tank. At the end of the video, I'll show you exactly what food I'm using. This seems like a lot of food, but it is only 3 cubes of frozen mysis. I'm going to put quite a bit in because I want it to get down on the bottom of the tank, and this is because the mandarin is going to be feeding on the bottom of the glass. He also eats off the big green chalice. The chalice sort of catches the food and then he will eat it off the chalice. You have to do it this way because they're such slow eaters. If you don't do it like this, all the other fish will eat the food before it gets down onto the bottom of the glass. You can also use a turkey baster as well to get it down on the bottom. I only do this about once a week, and this will be the only food that I feed to the tank today. As you can see, my aquarium is full of fast swimming fish that will eat all the food, high flow, and my mandarin still has done very well in this tank. This is a male Mandarin Dragonet. You can tell from its top dorsal fin, you can see it's pointed up there. This is not a captive bred one. This is the second one that I've had feeding like this. My first one lived for over 4 years before I moved him on to a different system. So in my experience, they have been pretty easy to keep. They don't require too much feeding and they are hardy and quite peaceful fish. They just swim around pecking on the live rock. At the end of the video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as that will help me making future videos. After a couple of minutes, I'll then put all the pumps back on just so I can stir up any leftover food. I can get it back into the water column for the rest of the fish to eat. This is a good example of how busy my tank is full of fish and amphias, and the mandarin's not that bothered, it'll just go about picking at the rocks. The mandarin is constantly eating, he's constantly grazing around the live rock as well for copepods and any live food within the rocks. So he's perfect for pest control because he can swim in between the corals and get right up into the corals. I've never seen any flatworms or anything like that in my tank, and I think that's because of him. When I picked him up, he was quite a small mandarin, and he has put a bit of weight on. You can see his body shape here is quite rounded, and that's a good thing for these fish. When selecting a fish from the fish shop, just make sure he's hovering around the rocks and pecking at it, and he hasn't got a sunken belly. Even with the flow on full blast, it can still hover and hold itself in between the rocks and the corals looking for live food. This is me preparing the food. I'm going to add 3 frozen mysis cubes to some tank water, and then I'm going to add a little bit of flake. The flake is to distract all the other fish, all the amphias and the green chromices, so the mysis can get to the bottom where the mandarin needs it. And that's how I keep my green mandarin fat and healthy. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the screen. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.